Thanks, Jerry. I'm delighted to welcome Matthias Naumann from Companjon to join us today. So Companjon are a new insurtech established in Dublin, and I think they're a great firm to be able to promote at this launch of InsTech.ie. So we'll talk a little bit about your business, Matthias, and various things as we go through it. But maybe just to start, it's always nice to hear a little bit about your background. So do you want to maybe talk a little bit about your background and how you got into insurance?
I had the pleasure to work in financial services, meaning banking and insurance, for basically my entire professional career. I worked with BCG for more than roughly 23 years in various shapes or forms, and there mainly in banking and insurance. I had the opportunity to lead some of the digitization efforts on digital ventures, in working at the forefront of quite some, I would say, transformational investments of large leading clients, which gave me quite some insights on how the insurance space ticks and works. And I finally ended up here.
So based on that experience, you've decided to set up Companjon. Do you want to maybe tell us a little bit about Companjon and what you're trying to do?
Yeah, sure. So I would say the idea of setting up Companjon is probably 5 years old. Once we visited a very interesting startup in Asia, actually China, where we realized how technology actually can change the experience of an end customer when you talk about insurance. Meaning when you actually have a parametric setup that automatically, triggers you when something happens, that automatically informs you when you have to write to get something, etc. Which we thought those days actually should be a great idea to bring over to Europe and probably replicate a little bit with some adjustments, a very successful business model in Southeast Asia. So that's how the idea of setting up Companjon came across. And obviously, as you know, these things take time, and you need the right opportunity, the right setup, and all of a sudden, you approach people, and here we are.
So you talked there about parametric products, Matthias, and the growth there. So do you maybe want to talk a little bit about what type of products you're going to offer and maybe how they fit into that overall growth in parametric products?
Yeah, sure. So I guess what we do is we offer, I would say, bespoke parametric solutions or insurance solutions as add-on services that support the lifestyle of the modern customer. Meaning we are fully end-to-end digitized. We are fully straight through and automatically triggered also in case something should happen to one of our customers. We offer a unique new experience for the end customer, and we also fueling, I would say, the ecosystems of all the business partners we're working with. So which puts the whole insurance notion into a completely different setup of being actually a very inspiring thing to have.
And to maybe for people who aren't so familiar with parametric products, to talk about the breadth of different products that could fall under the parametric trigger. So what type of products do you think are best fitted for that type of trigger?
Actually, parametric basically means you define upfront what you get at the end, or you basically slice the different sets in the value chain according to certain triggers and setups. So you basically can, most of the, I would say, P&C products for which are not corporate products into that category. So that leaves you quite a big space of what you technically could do. Obviously, it gets a little bit more and more complex. We're starting with, I would say, most insurtechs do with add-on insurances, which are very, very simple, and that allows us to implement it very, very quickly. Also to kind of offer that to quite a big community of people and business partners, and to roll out fast and to scale up fast.
So you set up a company over the last sort of 12 or 18 months through a difficult time with COVID and global pandemic and so on. But I guess the pandemic has also resulted in some changes in consumer behavior and maybe the embracing of digital at a faster pace. So how do you see that trend, and what opportunities that present for you going into the future?
Probably two sets of the questions. So if you would have asked me, we would have set this up a year ago, and which would have been a different setup. We basically set this up right before the pandemic started in Europe. We got the full funding beginning of March, and mid-March we went straight into the pandemic. Then you start like, is this probably it's all about timing. Either way, you could say we were lucky or not. Obviously, it helped us a lot in terms of how do you rethink the business, because we had to do a lot of things differently right from the beginning. So I would say we are digitally native and fully agile on the way, which helps a lot in our setting. What you also see on the end customers end is, especially in the space we are in at the moment, is that the increase of a certain security on one hand, or a certain flexibility when it comes to travel, when it comes to lifestyle setup, is significantly increasing. You might be aware we have done 2 customer surveys over the last 9 months. We're just doing a third one, which actually proves that quite a bit, because we are quite insecure now in how the future is going to look like in the next 3 to 6 to 12 months. And that also increases the awareness for a certain, I would call it, lifestyle cover people are really looking for.
So you talked about Companjon was a digitally native company, and you obviously spent a fair bit of time at BCG. So if you look at the digital infrastructure of your competitors out there, of the traditional players, how would you rate the industry's digital approach?
As we are, as Companjon, we actually have our own underwriting skills. So we actually are a fully licensed insurance company as a risk carrier on one hand, and on the other hand, have a distribution arm which allows us to distribute these products across Europe. So from that space, we actually have 2 sets of competitors. One is I would say the classical InsTech 1.0s, which basically distribute existing products. Where I would say it's a growing market and they're doing quite well on the distribution side, while the products they're offering are still kind of the classic traditional ones, which I would say a tech advanced front end. You basically can switch it on and off when you buy it. Travel insurance is a classic one, or your phone insurance and crashes, etc. On the other hand, you have the incumbents. These are all the big names you all are well aware of, and they talk about a lot on how the digital age has kind of transformed the business. If I look in the space we are at, they're still using, I would say, traditional products and have, I would say, made some adjustments at the front end again to make sure they can see and kind of elaborate the space on one end, while the entire claims process, for instance, is exactly the same and hasn't changed. So I would say in our space, there have been movements. They probably haven't been as quick or as radical or as disruptive as I would have loved to see it. For us, it's good. So there's a lot of space for us to move quickly and to move fast.
So you decided to base Companjon in Ireland. So we're delighted to have you here. Do you want to maybe tell us a little bit about why you decided to base yourselves here?
I guess Ireland has a couple of really fundamental setups that allows us to be successful. So first of all, it's you speak English in Ireland, which gives us an international company quite a well set up, because we need a country within the European Union to get access to the European Union at the end. And that gives us scale and access to 500 million potential customers. I guess it would also say Ireland has quite extensive and good talent pool, which allows us to kind of find the right talents, find the right people from a local base, but also from an international base. So we have, for instance, people today from the United States, from Switzerland, from Europe, from South America, etc. So that allows us to have a quite diverse setup on all different kinds. And I would say the third key thing is Ireland has a very well regarded and reputed regulator these days, which is essential for a business like us, having operating a fully regulated business, to go into other countries through passporting, such as Germany, such as France or Spain, just to name a few, which gives us also the, I would say, the right credibility doing that business. And overall, on a personal side, I guess I had the chance to visit and to come to Ireland obviously quite a few times now, and it's a very very nice country, and people are very open and helpful in supporting us and helping us bring this business to success. That's actually quite nice as well.
Okay, Matthias, if we look to the future now, maybe if you were to would you chat again in 3 years' time, what would you like to have achieved with Companjon? What does success look like?
Well, obviously in the tech space, 3 years is quite a long period, but obviously our vision is to be the leading InsurTech 2.0 provider across Europe. Success means for us, we probably working with the largest platforms in the space out of Europe and follow their clients wherever they are, being it geographically, but also being it on their customer needs they support, out of the add-on space into that setup. So I guess that would be probably what we inspire to and what we work very hard to.
Well, thank you very much for your time today. It was great to talk to you, and may I take this opportunity to wish Companjon all the best for the future. We look forward to seeing your success. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Highly appreciate it. Thank you.